My name is James Cachado, and I'm a testicular cancer survivor. This all started around September of 2008. I actually I was starting to feel a little bit of pain in my groin, and I really didn't think it was anything to worry about. I just thought it was going to pass over, and it was not going to be too big of a deal. The thing that prompted me to go get checked out is we were actually doing a program here on UNC Charlotte's campus. And we were co-sponsoring an event that was dealing with men's health and dealing with, just trying to tell students to get themselves checked out. And I picked up one of the flyers that talked about testicular cancer. And as I was reading through it, it had like a list of like, if you feel some of these symptoms, see a doctor. And some of those symptoms I actually did feel, so that had a light bulb go off my head, being like, oh no, maybe I should go and get something checked out. So went, saw the doctor, and this was September 18th, 2008. It's a day I'll never ever forget. Went in, she went and checked me out. We got an ultrasound done, and after we got the ultrasound done, I went home to walk the dog. As soon as I came back, I had a voicemail message. It was a doctor saying, hey, call me back. I called her back, and she says, hey, I just wanted to let you know you had your results come in. I normally don't do this over the phone, but since we have to really move on this, I just want to let you know that there is a possibility that you have testicular cancer. And they saw a mass there, and that I would have to go in for some CT scans, I would have to go in for x-rays, have to get some blood work done, and I also went to saw the urologist. And the urologist said, yeah, we have to schedule a surgery, and everything was moving fast from there. Well, it's funny because when the doctor told me, hey, you have, it's like, we want to let you know that you have testicular cancer, and I pretty much, without missing a beat, because I'm a smart aleck like that, I just said, could you repeat that, because I couldn't hear you, the sound of me crapping myself. But, I mean, after I hung up, I was pretty devastated. I mean, hearing the words, you have cancer, is just something that will change your life, and I was pretty much numb on the floor, just like sitting there after I heard it. I was just like sitting there thinking, what's gonna happen? What does this mean? What's gonna happen from here? And in the meantime, I got my dog looking at me like, well, you neutered me a couple years ago, so what are you all complaining about? So I think the hardest part was having to call my parents about it too, because I wanted to let them know, and they knew I was going to go to the doctor and everything, and I think I didn't even pause or anything. I said, hey, how's it going, guys? I have cancer, and just try to get it out there and try to get off there, because I was just so angry and mad. But after that, I also knew, all right, well, I could either just sit here and sulk, or we could just go to work and do what needs to be done. It was an odd process, because I thought that chemo was going to start immediately, but it was, I had the surgery, then it was wait a week, check up on the surgery, wait another week to see the chemo doctor, then we waited another week to go see the doctor that was going to put the port in, and then it was another week to put the port in, and then it was another week to see the chemo doctor again and brief me about chemo, and then after that it was time to do chemotherapy, and it took about a good 6 weeks. Chemo was one of the most, I underestimated chemo fully, because when we met with the chemo doctor, the nurse was telling me that you could have a variety of symptoms. You could either have a huge appetite, or you won't have any appetite at all. You'll either be constipated, or you'll have diarrhea. You'll either have your hair fall out, or you might change color. It was kind of confusing, and I was just like, whatever. I'm just gonna get plugged into a machine, get chemo, and my hair is gonna fall out, and I get to watch as much SportsCenter as Price is Right as I want to throughout the day. And that was, and I was half right on that. The first week that I went through it, that was probably one of the most draining experiences. Being pricked by, getting my blood checked, getting poked and needled to access the port and to clean it out and to get more blood work drawn. I will say that it did get me over my fear of needles. Before I ever went to the doctor, I would always be like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get a shot, or holy cow, they're gonna draw blood, and I always got worried about that. But when you get pricked with needles about 10 times a week, you get over that fear pretty quickly. My mouth tasted like metal. I was just tired all the time. I felt like a zombie most of the time as well. I just did not feel like myself. I was grumpy, I was pissed off, I was not, I was not a very happy person. I was trying to keep my spirits up, but at the same time, every time I moved, every time I thought it was just mentally draining, and it really took a toll on my experience a bit. You know, having to, you know, sit there for 6 hours and realizing you're having poison being transported through your body, but you knew it was for a good cause. You wanted it to be, make it worth it. It wasn't real until, you know, I'm sitting in, like a week later, after, sitting in the shower, and I'm washing my head, and I saw my hand just covered in my own hair, and that's when reality set in. I was just like, holy cow, this is real, this is what's happening. I was getting some weird cravings during chemotherapy. I think one time I was actually craving a 7-layer burrito from Taco Bell with Bojangles chicken in it. It still sounds good to me. I couldn't even read any of the stats I was going across because my vision was just that blurred. I couldn't see anything. And yeah, it was a very underestimated experience. After the chemo ended, you know, I felt relieved, I felt rejuvenated. I was just like, yes, it's finally over. It took a while for me to get my strength back up. It took a little bit before I was able to actually function again, you know, because I mean, I was feeling all of it, but I mean, it was still kind of hard to breathe. It was kind of hard to move around. But I felt like every week I started feeling better and better and better. You know, I was starting to get into my normal routine, and the color of my skin started coming back because I was just pale. My hair started growing back. Though you can't notice it over here. I mean, it's just like it started coming back and everything. I was like, it's like not going out of business, I'm relocating. But went and saw the urologist again, and you know, we took more tumor markers, we took some stuff, and a lot of those levels were low, and he said, yeah, and also noticed my lymph nodes were a lot lower too. We took more CT scans after that. They hadn't grown at all. They hadn't shown any chance of getting back anything, and he says, yes, for all intents and purposes, I mean, you beat this. So, and that was probably one of the most relieving things I ever heard. After cancer, I mean, it's a very life-changing disease. I mean, that you have, like, the things that really bothered you at one point, they go away almost. I mean, you have this, I mean, I had like these moments of clarity during things when I hear people getting frustrated about things going on in their lives, or something that's petty, you know, maybe, something petty that might have happened. I mean, it's given me a cause to fight for as well. Ever since then, you know, I've really been more active with fundraising for the American Cancer Society, working with Relay for Life. I think it's changed me in that I am more comfortable talking to people about it too. At first when I thought about when I had cancer and everything, everyone was like, a lot of people were asking, well, do you want us to put this on the low? Do you want us to tell people what happened? And at first I was thinking, well, yeah, I don't want anybody to know, I don't want to raise concern or anything. But I also thought, well, if it wasn't for that event, for someone to come out and, you know, to share some of that information, you know, it would have been something that would have been ignored. But because, you know, that was brought to my attention, that's how I was able to find out. So I told folks, yeah, let people know I'm willing to talk about it. I want to talk about it because it's part of the healing process. Cancer is survivable, especially with young men. And I want to let them know, you know, get checked out early. If you feel like you have some kind of pain, get it checked out because it could save your life. I will never ever forget, you know, the day, like September 18th, 2008. That was always going to be the day that I found out that I had cancer and everything. But after, you know, surviving it and doing that, I never refer to that day as the day that I got cancer. I celebrate it as my own personal birthday. I call it Survivor Day. This is every time September 18th comes around, that is my Survivor Day, and I celebrate it just like an anniversary, a birthday, graduation. That is my day, and it really gives me a time to reflect. It really gives me a time of just to think about the overall journey that we made and the strides that I've made for, you know, to get to that point. And I'm happy to say that right now it's been 5.5 years since I've survived cancer.